Let's hit the agenda check. No, it's going to be a good one this week.
Yeah.
I've got 5 written down here. Let's just get right into it. Let's start with the obvious. Paul Rothrock. If last week was skyrocketed, this week is into stratospheres and galaxies as of yet undiscovered
Correct.
by mankind.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Extraterrestrial.
It's a huge boon for Lobbing Scorchers. I feel so validated. We've been banging this drum all season, dating back to last season. Started as a bit, and now it's doesn't even have to be a bit anymore. It's a real thing.
We manifested this.
I want to take at least some degree of credit for it. And also, like I said, man, like I really think there's something to just the kind of presence that he had in this game. Like I was, my eyebrows were raised watching it, especially the point at the end where he was like getting in the guy's face and talking shit to him. Like it was just like a side of Paul Rothrock that we hadn't even seen yet. And I think there's a decent chance we are watching a legitimate and long-serving MLS player here. I don't know if he's ever actually going to become a bona fide week-in, week-out starter with this team or with any MLS team. But, if he keeps playing like this and producing, he's going to have a role somewhere. And if he keeps doing it for Seattle, it should be here. He's from here, and he's really he's come through and bailed this team out in a lot of ways. Like for all the jokes and kind of fluffing up of it that we do, like where would this team be without Paul Rothrock right now? It would not be in the mix for a playoff spot. I really don't think so.
Yeah. That's crazy to say that like your what is it, your depth chart number 5 or 4 player in this position.
Backup to the backups coming into the year.
Yeah, and like he, one of the last guys selected for the roster this season is making one of the biggest impacts on the team and keeping them alive in the playoffs is crazy. Rothrock also, this comes from Frank McDonald, has more Sounders goals than the past 5 DPs against.
Yeah, so I retweeted that stat.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a good stat, but it's a funny stat.
Yeah, and that's I don't know. I don't even know. I'm just like speechless.
I know. I feel the same way. It's honestly it's the storyline of the season for me. It's like why I'm excited to tune in every week. Now that we've won, Noah, and he's actually starting and playing a lot of minutes and still banging in goals, like it's unreal. And the thing is, at this point, like there's not even a debate to be had over whether he should be playing or get. He's the only guy on the team that's scoring goals consistently.
I think it's so funny that like that was literally our whole argument when we made the Play Paul Rothrock episode was like he's the only guy who could score. Put him on the field. And then they put him on the field.
And he keeps scoring.
And he keeps scoring.
It's funny how that works. Man, we should be coaches.
I'm just saying.
RBW. I think the RBW agenda is honestly, it's pretty much a push for this week.
Yeah.
I thought he had some good moments, and he didn't make any egregious mistakes, which for a young player like this, that's always, I think that's like objective number 1 is don't do anything outrageous or stupid, or don't get a red card, which he did a couple weeks ago.
Did do that.
So
we defended him though.
We did, but like. It was good to see that he made it through this game without any such shenanigans. And you see I think finally getting to watch RBW play a little bit more, I do see what all the scouts are seeing in terms of like, isn't it fun to watch when he's taking on a defender 1v1 and just mosses him?
Yeah.
Like he can do that stuff. And he doesn't do it like super consistently yet, but if he gets to a point where he does, this is a very potentially dangerous attacking player, honestly. Like, I don't know how you could watch him and not at least have some sort of excitement about that aspect of his game. He's entertaining and he's fun to watch. That's what I like about him.
Yeah, I love, one of my biggest things with wingers like that is Something that frustrates me a lot, actually, is, a player goes down for a foul or starts screaming at the ref because they get fouled. Dude, this guy, he's small. He does need to hit the gym, whatever. He's a young kid. He'll get bodied off the ball, and it's like literally a millisecond later, he's back up and hounding the ball that he just like somehow poked through this dude's legs and trying to make a run onto it. Like, he's nonstop.
I also
I
feel like he's pretty damn swole this year.
He is big. He's bigger. I'm not saying that he's a little guy. He probably could beat my ass, but like, you know what I mean. I'm saying like he got bodied.
He's not
off the
like
ball.
a fully grown dude.
Yeah, he's a kid.
Yeah,
he's a kid.
19.
But like, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I was a dumbass when I was 19. I wouldn't say I was an adult, but it's like, yeah. So anyway,
I think the RBW agenda. It's not like drastically strengthened, but he certainly didn't weaken it.
Yeah.
I had the Obed Atencio double pivot written down here. We already talked about it, but yeah, I mean, that stock is down for me. I don't know. Some people might have different diagnoses of what went wrong in that first half, but I just think the midfield in general, like this has been a recurring theme this year, where you have these stretches of these games where the midfield's just getting ran on.
Yeah.
Like that. So whatever you attribute that to, it's not good. The Steph Fry's cooked agenda, I think, arguably took a hit in this game. Steph Fry made some good saves.
it did. I hate to report it to you folks, but Steph
You're the
Fry was
NDT
back.
guy. You're the NDT guy.
Steph Fry was back in a big way, and we don't win that game. We don't get a result in that game without him making some really nice saves. He made a double save, and he made a really sick poke save that just. I mean, frankly, those were going to be goals.
This take could backfire on me, but I mean, I've been of the mind that the Steph Fry's cook stuff is, I get it, but it's a little overblown. He's definitely conceded more goals that he shouldn't have this year than he has pretty much any other year. I agree with that. I just don't see goalkeeping as the biggest issue for why this team is dropping points or why they're conceding some of the goals that they're conceding. But for the people who are proponents of the Andy T agenda, I do agree that Andy T has been better this year.
Yeah,
I will agree with that.
Well, yeah, it's not a anti. I guess I'm not anti Fry because I think he still has a lot to give, and he's one of the best to ever play in the MLS. But I feel like Andy T's got that fire, and he's ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, Andy T is the wave of the future for sure. The right back Christian Roldan agenda was strengthened in this game, in my opinion. Alex is out with the concussion that he suffered in the last game, and so with this mixed and matched rotated lineup, you had Christian slotting back at right back, and he's looked really good there. And it's kind of crazy just how you can plug him in basically anywhere. Like, you could probably put him in at goalkeeper and he would do pretty good. Like,
well, we know Alex is good at goalkeeper.
That's a good point, good reference. But the right back Roldan was originally Christian's thing before they drafted his brother. I wish we'd had Lobbing Scorchers back in those days, because right back Roldan would have been a key character. Well, just because back then there was so much more novelty to it, because I didn't ever even consider it a thing, and then they plugged him back there. And he did pretty well back then too, but it's so valuable, honestly, to have a guy that you can do stuff like that with. Remember Brad Evans back in the day? They would kind of do similar stuff, just plug him in wherever they. And Brad Evans, vocally, was not always a fan of that. Like, he was like, there are times where I just feel like I want a position, but Christian, he's doing what's best for the team right now, and. I thought he put in a shift at right back in this game. Yeah,
that right side was lethal, man. Him and Paul Rothrock, and
oh my god, the right back Christian Paul Rothrock right-sided combo. That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, listen, you could put Christian as the head coach, and I think he would do well. Like, he's hands down been one of the best utility players in MLS over the last 5 years. I don't know who you could really point to that's someone who you can just plug and play and have confidence that he's gonna be able to produce a result. Basically no matter what, on the contract that he's on.
Yeah, it's crazy when you really think about it, because he was a number 10 at UW.
Yeah.
But then when he got to MLS, they moved him back to the defensive midfield because they thought that's where he projected better as a pro, and also I think it's where Seattle more needed him. And he became one of the top players in the league at that position, to the point where when they were messing around and experimenting with him at right mid, like I think I and a lot of other people were like, this is not like you're moving him out of his best position.
Yeah.
But then he played so well at right mid that it became like something that people were against to move him back when they started moving him back to the defensive midfield. And I think the reality is that there might not even be just a best position. He just plays both at a very, very high level. And I don't think he's looked as effective at right mid this year, but I think if you look at his full track record playing at that position, I mean, he's shown that he can be very good and very dynamic as an attacking player and a facilitator. And I still believe that a lot of what went wrong last year was correlated to the time that he missed with the concussion. I mean, we talked about that a lot last season, but he gets plugged in at a different position again in this game and put in a great shift. So the right back Christian Roldan agenda is strengthened, even though I'm sure, Alex will take that back over when he's back from the concussion. But for this game, it really worked well.
But should he? That's the question. Because I'm not saying that that Alex is bad by any means, but
you like Christian starting there better?
I mean, if Christian's going to get bumped off the field for into the future because there's not a spot for him on the field with players coming back from injury,
I
prefer him over Alex.
It's an interesting debate. We'll probably debate that one more.